X. Revolutionary, civil rights leader, firebrand.
We invested 310 years of slave labor. They can give us the back pay.
His assassination inside Harlem's Audubon Ballroom in 1965 was a wound to the heart of Black America. Of the three men found guilty of his murder, two were wrongfully convicted.
Two people were not inside of the ballroom the day that Malcolm was shot.
Their case finally reopened, correcting the miscarriage of justice.
We are moving today to vacate the convictions of Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam for the assassination of Malcolm X.
Nobody was listening.
But the world is listening now.
Oh, yeah.
By 1965, Malcolm X had enemies. He had split from the Nation of Islam, and he was under surveillance by the FBI.
There's a moment in 1964 when J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI director, sends a telegram to his office located in New York. And basically he says, quote, "Do something about Malcolm X."
The role that the FBI played, they knew how to exploit, right, the tensions, and they spread suspicion and hatred through the ranks against Malcolm.
On February 21st, 1965, it all came to a head. Just as Malcolm X was to deliver a speech at the Audubon Ballroom.
He walked out onto the stage. Then a man stepped up 15 feet from the stage. He crouched, took perfect aim, and blasted right through the lectern into Malcolm's heart.
One gunman, Talmadge Hayer, now Mujahideen Abdul Halim, was arrested fleeing the scene.
What's your wire? What's your wire? Come on.
Later, the NYPD arrested Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam.
Did they say what they were arresting you for? Killing Malcolm. Not the murder of Malcolm X.
Multiple eyewitnesses said they'd seen Aziz in the ballroom with a firearm, but he told police he had been home that day.
I didn't have anything at all, in any way, shape, or form, with the killing of Malcolm X.
Who else was home with you that day?
My wife and my children.
So you had, as they say in court, you had an alibi.
Yes.
Hayer confessed, but Aziz and Islam maintained their innocence.
When it became clear to Talmadge Hayer that he was going to be convicted, he confessed his role in the murder. But he said, these two men, they're innocent. They had nothing to do with it. But the jury didn't believe him, and all three of them were convicted in April of 1966.
Muhammad Aziz was sentenced to life in prison.
People knew while you were there that you were one of the men convicted of killing Malcolm. Were there threats because of that?
To me? No.
Yes, sir.
No. The people know I didn't do it. Nobody ever thought I did it. Just white people. Our people never thought I did it.
In 1977 and 78, Talmadge Hayer, the man who years ago confessed to killing Malcolm X, signed affidavits saying not only did Islam and Aziz not kill Malcolm X, he for the first time named his co-conspirators. And based on those signed affidavits from Talmadge Hayer, Aziz and Islam appealed their convictions. But those appeals were denied. Aziz was eventually paroled in 1985 after spending 20 years in prison, but his innocence was still in question. Until 2020, when lawyers for Aziz convinced then Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance to reopen the case. Vance sat down with my colleague, Pierre Thomas.
What was it about what was presented to you that made you think, maybe we should look at this?
Clearly, the Malcolm X case was, and his assassination was hugely important historically.
The amount of information here is like nothing we've ever seen in a wrongful conviction case.
The joint team found evidence that the FBI had withheld documents that could have exonerated Aziz and Islam.
It appeared to have been withheld intentionally.
Was it coming from the top?
Clearly, J. Edgar Hoover had, in the FBI records, had apparently issued orders that information was not to be shared with the NYPD. Why that was being done, presumably for no good reason.
Aziz's conviction had relied on eyewitness testimony, now discredited.
Now we know we had no evidence about what kind of identification procedures actually had happened. Were they done at the standards that we would require today? It's a complete empty notebook on how the identifications were made.
Finally,
We are moving today to vacate the convictions of Muhammad Aziz and Khalil Islam for the assassination of Malcolm X.
The joint motion is hereby granted.
At the end of the day, where does the accountability lie for Mr. Aziz and Mr. Islam?
Well, the accountability lies in our justice system. I think, period, full stop. Whether you call it the police or the FBI or the prosecutors.
Muhammad Aziz, the estate of Islam, was filed in several multi-million-dollar lawsuits.
With the civil lawsuit, we are pointing our fingers at the government officials and saying, you need to be held responsible for what you did here. You destroyed many lives, not just the lives of Muhammad and Khalil.
You've gotten your good name back.
Well, I never lost it. Other people did what they did with it, but I never lost my name. If the book tells you a good name is better than fine gold. So this name is gold. Better than gold.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you